welcome to another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. I'm Chris Costa.
And I'm Joanne LaFlamme.
Joanne, what do you think we should cover tonight?
Well, we just announced a new release, so maybe we can go over the new features in this release.
Sure. No,
Okay.
that sounds good. So we can just run through them and...
Sounds good. Maybe
Okay.
we can start right at the utilities menu.
Okay. All right. So yeah, one of the things we did add was, and I'm actually open to the utilities menu here as we look on the screen. We added into the system log an ability to see when users log in. So one of the new options in here is user logins, the bottom of the list here. Basically, it's just going to track as users log in. You can see the time stamped for all the different users as they log in.
Perfect.
Nothing too complicated there, but people have asked for it. So
Yep, that sounds good.
okay.
How about CRM? Do we have anything new there?
Yep. Couple things. Okay. So I'll go to the customer view of CRM. One of the things here is we've added a filter for the active and inactive customers. Okay, pretty simple. So if you leave it on active and inactive, of course, it's going to show everything, all customers. But I could, if I wanted to, quickly filter on just the active customers or, by contrast, just the inactive customers.
Okay, that's perfect.
Okay, pretty straightforward there. Okay. Another thing that was done, if I go on to the Orders tab, people have asked for this, being able to access the price setter from within CRM.
Okay.
So a couple of ways you can do this now. Number one, just by having the job highlighted, we've added the price setter button off to the side.
Okay.
So you can click in there and it will showcase the price setter tool. Okay, and then from there it's just as normal. The other way you could, if you go into an order, and we'll see this when we go into estimating order entry as well, but you can now access price setter right from the list, from inside of an estimate.
Okay. So that's for estimates and for orders?
Yes.
You will do that?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay, so you can now get at that, both of those places from within CRM as well.
Okay.
Okay, and then that's probably a good segue to get into estimating order
All right,
entry.
perfect.
Okay. Okay, so we'll go back to the home screen here. Let's open up estimating for a minute. And so as we just mentioned, if I edit an estimate or an order, I can now access the price setter from the estimate header screen. So in the list on the right-hand side, as you're working on an estimate or an order, you can now just go right to the price setter from inside the estimate.
That's great.
Okay.
All right.
Actually, I'm going to stay inside of that estimate. And if I edit the component, I'm going to go to an outside service process. Okay. And I just click add there. We've added an add to database function. People probably notice this in different areas. So if you're going to add an outside service on the fly and you assign it to a supplier, type in a product ID, you can click the add to database and it will add it to the supplier database as a new outside service.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good.
So
Are these changes only in the .NET version of order entry, or are they in the VB6 version as well?
most of these will be just in the .NET.
Okay.
Okay. Not specific to each. I'm not sure 100% on each one of these, but I'm pretty sure they're probably in the .NET. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. What's the next one? Okay. Back on the header part of the order, and again, a lot of these order or the estimate, right? But if I go to the job header notes, these will all double click and expand. So if there's a lot of, some people like to type a lot into these instructions. We did that with a detailed description a while back on the
Right.
job header, where you could open that up. So all of these will now expand, open, a lot more real estate to see there. Okay, and if I go into an estimate, let's go into a digital component. On the press process, we've added the ability to change the run percentage. Okay, press run percentage here. That's always been available for sheet fed.
Right,
Okay.
and post-press.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we've added it for the high-speed copy.
Okay,
as well.
great.
Okay. Okay, so all those those last few things we just mentioned would go for either an estimate or an order. These next couple will be specific for orders.
Okay, great.
Okay. So if we go to the job planning screen, we look at requisitions. Okay, so I'm just going to cancel there. Go to the job planning menu. Okay. So now, number one, the requisitions button is going to be highlighted red if there's a requisition present.
Okay.
Okay, so that's number one. Number two, you can now multi-select. So let me delete the requisitions that are in there. Okay. So now I can either hold down the shift key or the control key, grab multiple items up in the top box, and create a requisition.
And it does all of them. That's great.
Both. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so I think that takes care of the changes for estimating order entry.
How about file maintenance? Do we have anything?
Yep, a few things there.
Okay.
Okay. So number one, let's look at the post-press process for a second. So if I go into any one of these, it doesn't really matter, I suppose. This option here where it says use book spine thickness, okay, for any process like punching or anything that you would use the book spine thickness. Previously, we didn't have this option available with finish sheets. Okay?
Right.
It was only for final product.
Okay.
So now if you choose finish sheet as your costing method, that option is still there. So now you can use the book spine thickness. So if you're going to use the inches per cycle option, you can now use the spine thickness instead of using just the average weight of the paper.
You mean the average caliper of the paper?
Average caliper of the paper, right.
So you should get a more accurate calculation for punching, for example, where you're only punching parts of a book.
Exactly.
Okay,
Right.
great.
Because it wasn't a weighted average before. So if
Right.
you had just, one cover stock and 100 pages, it would just take those two sheets, divide by 2, and instead of doing a weighted average.
Okay,
So this will be much more accurate. In those.
great.
Okay. I'm going to go to the customer. And you can now default, you were always able to default the ship method, the ship via code. Now you can also assign a default ship via service. Okay.
Okay, great.
Pretty simple, but some people have asked for that. There's also a way now in the system settings where you can make that a mandatory selection
On the customer?
on the customer.
Great.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Now you've always been able to mark cost centers themselves as inactive. Now you're going to be able to mark individual processes as inactive.
Okay.
Okay. So within a cost center, you could have, just a few processes that
That
are
are
inactive. I don't know if it still might make sense for customers to, I know we've always suggested to people to create a cost center called inactive processes and then transfer the processes up in there. Probably still not a bad idea.
Right, but now you have an option.
You've got the option.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And then one more thing here, if we go to the supplier product, I go under suppliers, you can now add a markup table within a supplier product. Okay. Markup table in there.
Okay, great.
Again, simple thing, but okay.
And so is that everything in file maintenance?
That's everything there.
All right, how about purchasing? Can you
Okay.
do there?
Yep. This one's been asked for, I think, for a little bit. Simple thing, but again, nice change. Being able to add an ability to see all purchase orders.
Which makes it easy when you're searching for something and not sure
Exactly.
where it goes.
Exactly.
Yeah, or where it is.
Right. So now you still have the ability to see, of course, all that are open or all that are just history, but being able to see everything.
Great.
Okay.
What about shipping?
Shipping. Okay. Being able to expand the grid down here. So if of course, if we expand the entire screen, this screen is now going to be adjustable. So as you add columns in here, you can pull this. There's a lot more real estate in the shipping data grids.
Great.
Okay, and people have asked for that for a
Yes,
little while. Yeah.
Okay,
So
great.
that's a good one.
How about the accounting modules?
A few things in the accounting, and some of these are going to apply to, both AR, AP, and some of the others. But okay. So number one, starting accounts receivable. You can make the plant ID be mandatory for all transactions.
Okay.
Okay. We added that both in AR and AP.
Okay.
So if you are multi-plant and you want to make that a mandatory selection,
Great.
okay, you'll be able to do that.
Okay.
Okay. What else we do in AR? Oh. Okay, so when you're closing out a job, change order, similar to how we highlighted the requisitions red, we'll highlight the change orders in red if there's any
Right.
present, so
Great.
people know to look for them.
That's a good option.
Okay.
Or change.
Yep. And then within the transaction inquiry, we've added a search button, the primary search. Previously, if you wanted to search through some of these transaction windows in accounting, it was more the quick search through individual columns.
Right.
But we've added to the AR transactions, AP, cash book, the main search
Okay.
option here. So if you want to put some different filters in there.
And be able to save the searches,
Yep,
which is
exactly.
nice. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Into AP. Again, the plant ID mandatory flag there, but we've also added an ability to exclude vendors from the 1099 report if there's less than $600.
Okay. Great.
And then into cash book, in the bank reconciliation window, we've added a column for the vendor. So that'll work with any payments coming from accounts payable.
Okay.
You'll be able to quickly see who the supplier is there.
Great.
Okay.
Anything else on the accounting side?
I think that's about it.
All right.
Okay. Anything you want to add to any of that?
No, that's great. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thanks for watching. This was another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. I'm Chris Costa.
And I'm Joanne LaFlamme.
Thanks, and look forward for more to come.